A regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen Independent School District will be held Monday, June 10th, 2024, beginning at 5 p.m. at the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom Administration Building of the McAllen Independent School District, 2000 North 23rd Street, McAllen, Texas, 7501. Items listed on this agenda may be taken in an order other than as shown on this agenda. Unless removed from the consent agenda, items identified within the consent agenda will be acted on at one time. At this meeting, there may be discussion and action by the board on the items and subjects listed as follows. Call the meeting to order. I have done so at 5 p.m. A moment of silence, if we may bow our heads. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That was a little bit fast there, but very nice. Public comments, we have a video on the public comments rules, and here we go.
Here are the public comment procedures. Number 1, individuals who wish to participate during the portion of the meeting designated for public comment shall sign up at McAllenISD.org at least 1 hour prior to the start of the scheduled meeting. Number 2, an individual's comments to the board shall not exceed 2 minutes per meeting. Number 3, the board shall not tolerate disruption of the meeting by members of the audience. Thank you.
Información a personas para comentarios públicos. Número 1. Las personas que deseen participar durante la parte de la reunión designada por comentarios públicos deberán registrarse en McAllenisd.org al menos 1 hora antes del inicio de la reunión programada. Número 2. Los comentarios de un individuo a la Junta no excederán de 2 minutos por reunión. Y por último, número 3. La Junta no tolerará la perturbación de la reunión por parte de los miembros del público asistente. Gracias.
Thank you very much. We have several speakers tonight. First off, we have Fabiola Escalon. Escalon, you will have 2 minutes. We won't interrupt you. There is a timer up on the screen, and the time will start when you start speaking.
Good evening. Today we face troubling legislative proposals that threaten the very foundation of our public schools. One bill seeks to mandate the display of the 10 Commandments in all classrooms. Another proposes replacing trained school counselors with untrained, unsupervised religious chaplains. Additionally, there is a bill aimed at banning books, particularly those authored by people of color and those featuring LGBTQ characters. Book bans are a form of censorship. This past January, a Texas book ban law was ruled unconstitutional by a conservative judge because it violated the First Amendment. History has shown us the dangers of censorship and the suppression of ideas. Authoritarians have sought to limit the power of books. Their goal is to control knowledge and silence dissent. When a small group of people, such as the Remnant Alliance or Moms for Liberty, dictates what books other people's children are allowed to read, it infringes upon personal freedoms and the rights of other families. Every child deserves a chance to see themselves reflected in the books they read and to explore a wide range of experiences and viewpoints. By the way, most children today have cell phones with access to limitless content, yet there are no calls to censor their use in schools. We must stand against these book banning proposals. Our schools should not be platforms for the imposition of narrow ideologies from Christian nationalists. By protecting the freedom to read, we ensure that future generations have the tools they need to think critically and engage with the world. I will close with a quote from Representative James Tallarico. There is nothing Christian about Christian nationalism. It is the worship of power, social power, economic power, and political power. It is the Christian national movement is a subversion of our democracy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Escalon. Next up, we have Ana Silvia Chao.
Hello, board members. My name is Ana Silvia Chow, and I'm one of your students at one of the McAllen ISD high schools. I myself am a reader, and I've been reading since I was in elementary school. About this proposal to ban over 600 different books in our school library, it's an immoral action. The reason that your students are reading these books is not because they are trying to become awful, evil, or immoral, as the email that originally proposed that these books would turn your students into. The reason that students read these books is the same reason that the McAllen Public Library runs out of pamphlets on sexual and reproductive health and mental health, different types of mental health. Your students don't feel safe going to adults in their lives to learn about these kinds of things. Instead, what they turn to is books. And as I hope that everyone knows in this room, books are knowledge, and knowledge is a resource. You are not taking away a student's You are taking away a student's right to resources and knowledge. Instead of having a safe space where they feel comfortable to learn about things that they cannot learn about at home or at schools, they now feel that everything that they learn is immoral. In one of the books proposed to be banned, Speak by Laurie Anderson, there is no sexual content that is not about this girl's sexual assault. It is the author's real experience, and while you are trying to ban books, I can name about 10 students that are going through a very similar experience. Instead of being able to go to adults that they feel safe with, they could turn to a book instead of feeling shame. But instead of being able to do this, all these books will now be banned in their school libraries. I hope that you please reconsider that your actions have consequences on your students. It does not just affect who they are mentally, but their physical well-being. Thank you.
Next, we have Adrian Villegas. Adrian Villegas. Is he in the hallway or anything? 'Cause where are the seats? I can come back to Mr. Villegas while you look for him. Next up, Regina Rodriguez.
Hello, I am a student at Rowe High School. I am here to speak on the proposed list of 676 books to be removed from McAllen ISD libraries. This was demanded by representatives of Citizens Defending Freedom, a Christian nationalist organization founded in Florida, and the Remnant Alliance, an organization from Oklahoma whose mission it is to lead America back to God's moral values. Listening to them goes against the values this country has had for hundreds of years, that there should be a separation between church and education. This is especially so in a school district with no religious affiliation and students from all walks of life, including Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, and a large number of Catholic students like myself. When we look at the list of books, we see that most books contain ratings on a scale of 0 to 5. Booklooks.org rates those. It says on their website that they are a group, as they call themselves, concerned parents, not teachers, not librarians, and not people with any kind of education in literature. Their purpose is to help parents make informed decisions about what their kids read, not for conservative groups from Florida and Oklahoma to restrict access to literature for thousands of students from any given school district in Texas. Booklooks, in the frequently asked questions section of their website, admits that the rating system is very similar to the Miller test, developed to determine whether or not a work can be deemed legally obscene. The test is from 1973, a time before either of my parents was born. Another thing that stands out glaringly is the inconsistency with which Booklooks ranks its books. In the proposed list, it is stated that books rated 2 to 5 should be targeted for removal from middle schools, and those with ratings of 3 to 5 from high schools. If this were to be implemented, Flowers in the Attic, rated a 2, a book that contains, among other things, a sexually explicit rape scene, incest, poisoning of a child by their mother, and other graphic scenes, would be allowed in high schools. To All the Boys I've Loved Before, a young adult novel where the most explicit activity is kissing, would not be, as it is rated a 3. The Kite Runner, a book that I and other classmates have read for English class, also wouldn't be allowed, as it was rated a 4. Even though I would argue that it presents its themes in a much more digestible manner than Flowers in the Attic does. A scary
Ms.
As
Rodriguez, we're at time. We're going to have to strictly keep time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Hogan did not come in. Just really want to make sure. Okay, number 6 isn't coming. Lin Hu? She's not. And then Ann Rowland.
It starts with the banning of books, and it ends with the death of ideas. It ends with libraries filled not with books, but with empty shelves. The American way, the constitutional way, is not to ban books, but to buy more books with different viewpoints and to add them, not scrub the shelves of every book that doesn't fit a particular person's political or religious views. Censorship is censorship, period. And the Supreme Court has repeatedly sided against book banning. Knowledge is our most important resource. Why would we keep that from our children? Do you know that 1/3 of all book banning happens in Texas? We are killing education in Texas. We are killing the future of Texas. This country was born out of an idea that was then put on paper, an idea that at its core is about freedom. The banning of books today because of curse words, sexual content, sexual orientation, gender issues, race, politics, history, or any other topic goes against the ideals of America. By not teaching diverse perspectives or educating our youth about all walks of life, we are crippling our future. The banning of books, and I brought Sandra Cisneros' house on Mango Street because it is on the list. The banning of books and information paves a dangerous road towards theocracy. So I'm speaking up not only to protect our country and our democratic values, but also to protect the children and education itself. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Rowland. Natalie Vidal.
The groups demanding 676 books be removed from our shelves use a logical fallacy known as a hasty generalization to support their demand that these books be removed simply because they disagree with the ideas and content found within them. Removing books for this reason directly violates library patrons' First Amendment rights, which 4 days ago, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld in the case of Layla Green Little v. Llano County. I have provided copies of the case for your review. These groups desire to undermine our Constitution by systematically threatening and intimidating school districts with litigation to satisfy their agendas. The hypocrisy of imposing their beliefs regarding what students should or should not be allowed to read, while simultaneously demanding that parents maintain the right to choose what their child reads, should not be lost on any of us. The contradiction in this logic should be highlighted as they attempt to restrict access to literature based solely on their personal beliefs. Make no mistake, it's not about protecting children, nor is it about the books. What they seek is the establishment of a theocracy. Every book on the proposed list has an inalienable right to stay in our shelves because removing them directly violates our First Amendment rights. On June 7th, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal upheld settled law on this issue and confirmed that school boards may not remove books from school library shelves simply because they dislike the ideas contained in those books. As a mother of 2 and an English teacher within the district, I'm not scared of my children reading. What I fear are disingenuous groups such as the hypocritically named Citizens Defending Freedom, who hide behind false pretenses. I fear people who admittedly take only 10 to 15 minutes to decide whether or not a book has value and then demand others not read it. I fear people who think their beliefs should circumvent the United States Constitution. In closing, acquiescing to this book removal in any capacity will violate our First Amendment rights. I request the board replace the books that have been removed from our shelves prematurely, including the graphic novel Mouse by Art Spiegelman, and take no further action that intentionally or otherwise violates settled law. Please look beyond the smoke and mirrors and shield us from those seeking to undermine our democracy. Thank you very much.
Blanca Gomez.
Buenas tardes. El retiro de algún libro de las escuelas públicas creo que no debe ser a solicitud de individuos o organizaciones vinculados a la política o a la religión. El retiro de algún libro debe ser a criterio de personas que han estudiado y son contratadas como especialistas en este tema. Quiero leer 2 párrafos de una nota periodística publicada en el periódico de Houston Chronicle el 7 de junio del 2024 recientemente. El Tribunal de Apelaciones del Quinto Circuito de Texas dictaminó el viernes que las escuelas y bibliotecas públicas no pueden simplemente prohibir los libros con los que no están de acuerdo. A medida que más y más juntas escolares de Texas buscan censurar libros considerados demasiado controvertidos o de otro contenido, un tribunal conservador de Texas dictaminó el viernes que las entidades gubernamentales, incluidas las bibliotecas públicas, no pueden simplemente prohibir o censurar libros con los que no estén de acuerdo. Nos enteramos, y esta es mi opinión, que desde hace unos meses atrás el Distrito Escolar de McAllen ha retirado cientos de libros de las bibliotecas de las escuelas, siendo el motivo principal que los libros no estaban actualizados o tenían poca circulación. ¿Ustedes realmente promueven la lectura de sus libros en las bibliotecas, sobre todo en secundarias o preparatorias? Les pregunto porque es una realidad que los estudiantes cada vez más están usando su teléfono celular en las escuelas. ¿Qué están haciendo ustedes para alejarlos de los teléfonos en lugar de retirar libros por poca circulación? Estos libros van a ser reemplazados en el futuro, esperemos que así sea. Estos 2 libros ustedes los retiraron de las bibliotecas públicas. Este es un libro de Denzel Washington, que es la bibliografía de este actor. Este es otro libro que ustedes retiraron de las bibliotecas, que ya no van a poder leer mis hijos. Es sobre la historia de los mexicoamericanos. Gracias.
Stacy Solis.
Good evening. I'm a McAllen resident of 32 years. I'm a parent of a McAllen ISD student and an educator of teenagers for 37 years. I have been in education for 37 years. For the past few years, I had been very relieved that all the book banning fiasco that was happening in the rest of Texas had not yet come to the Rio Grande Valley. Sadly, that is no longer the case. As you all know, the list that they've all been talking about is what I'm here to argue against. There are numerous reasons cited by those attempting to ban books, and I won't try to address the myriad of reasons unless you want to grant me an hour. They will use hysterical language, citing pornographic language, or imagery, or warn that our children are being indoctrinated through books. They will take a few sentences or words from a 300-page book to try to make their point. Many high school students feel isolated and alone. You heard from 2 of your McAllen High School students, brave kids speaking. Many students, including LGBTQA+ students, are able to see themselves in books. Students who have been raped are able to see themselves in books. Students who have been victims of domestic abuse are able to see themselves in the books that are trying to be banned. Now, as a parent, I would hope to say that, well, they don't need to read the books. They can, I'm going off script, they can just come to me as a parent, or they can go to their teacher. We know teenagers. If you've worked with teenagers, you understand them. It is not easy for them to go so they can see themselves in books. Typically, those who want to see books want a very narrow view of life. They will cite caring for our children. But I want to assure you that this book banning desire in the Rio Grande Valley is grandstanding. It is actually an assault on public education. It is not about book banning. Most of the books aren't even being checked out of the McAllen High School Library. It provides drama and theatrics to help plant seeds of doubt in public education that you all know is the target. It is a frenzy. These groups have also promoted vouchers and are also creating private schools to pull your kids.
Thank you, Ms. Solis. Juan Lopez.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the Board of Trustees, and distinguished Dr. Gutierrez. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'm here to express my deep concern regarding the proposal to eliminate a planning period for our teachers. Firstly, losing a planning period is a direct path to teacher burnout. Teachers already manage extensive responsibilities during their day. Without adequate planning time, they will inevitably need to take more work home. This added workload not only increases stress, but also encroaches on personal and family time. Our teachers, many of whom have young children to take care of, will be forced to sacrifice precious moments with their families, creating a work-life imbalance that is neither sustainable nor fair. Furthermore, this proposal will create a miserable work environment for our teachers. The morale of our educators is crucial for the overall success of our schools. Happy teachers foster happy students. If our teachers are overwhelmed and unhappy, it will negatively impact the learning environment and student performances. Additionally, this change creates an unfair division among our staff. Only 43% of our teachers will be required to teach 7 periods, while the rest, particularly those focused on STAR testing, will continue with 6 periods. This disparity breeds resentment and division among colleagues, undermining the collaborative spirit essential for a thriving educational community. The primary justification for this proposal is to save money for the district. However, when we scrutinize the numbers, they do not add up to the savings being showcased. It's crucial to evaluate this approach, as the cost to our teachers' well-being and the potential turnover far outweighs any financial benefit. Moreover, teachers losing their planning period will have less time for crucial activities such as collaborating with peers, meeting with administration, conducting arts, grading papers, and communicating with parents. These tasks are essential for maintaining high educational standards and supporting student success. It's imperative that we consider the broader implications of this proposal. Maintaining a positive teacher morale is essential to avoid high turnover rates, which are costly and disruptive. Our teachers need adequate planning time to perform. Thank you for your attention and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Nidia Canales.
Good afternoon. I'm here in behalf of the PTO from Seguin Elementary. I'm the president of the PTO there. And the parents there were very concerned about getting the interventions out because a lot of the parents do not speak English and they will not be able to help their child at home. When these teachers were there, they were helping their kids, including my grandson. He was there, and they were able to get him up in the reading. So I believe that they should have stayed there, and you took them. Who you should be taking out is all those jobs that you have in central office that some of us don't even know what they do, some of these ladies. Pardon the expression, but what we call them parents, we call them the high heel shoe jobs. That's what we call them. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And another thing, at the elementary, at Seguin Elementary, I went to the cafeteria. The cafeteria, the ceiling is peeling. A lot of that paint can fall on some of the food that our students eat. And I already got in touch with Mr. Trevino. Nothing was done. Some of the lights are literally, Dr. Gutierrez, you should go check it out. Literally, they're being held up with black electrical tape. How long will that last? What if those lights fall on one of the workers or on one of our kids? Are you ready to pay for a lawsuit for one of our kids getting hurt? And I called Dr. Trevino. He said he was Mr. Trevino. He said he was gonna do something. Hasn't done anything yet. And another thing, the walls need painting. They told him there was no money for paint, and the walls are all warped because I almost tripped and fell. There's no money for that either. So where is the money going? There's money for curriculum writing, right? So how come there's no money to fix? You should go, Dr. Gutierrez, go over there and see the cafeteria. I'm concerned about that. My grandson goes there, so I'm just expressing their concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Canales. Sylvia Tanguma.
Good evening, President Peña, members of the board, and Dr. Gutierrez. I am speaking on behalf of one of my members that wasn't able to make it. So he would like you to know, once again, he would like to address the deeply concerning proposal to remove a planning period from over 40% of our middle and high school teachers. This move would force these teachers to teach an additional class, 7 out of 8 periods in high schools, each day without any compensation, significantly increasing their workload and diminishing their ability to effectively serve our students. In comparison, districts such as PSJA ISD and others in the region provide their teachers with both a planning and a conference period each day. Recognizing the importance of these periods for maintaining high-quality instruction. Furthermore, none of the districts specified in the presentation require teachers to teach more than 6 periods a day at the high school level. By adding a 7th class at our high schools, McAllen ISD would stand alone in imposing such an onerous schedule on its teachers. This proposal from MISD executive team being considered by the school board will result in each affected teacher taking on at least 25 additional students, leading to an increased grading burden and a substantial reduction in the time available within the district's contract hours to complete all necessary tasks. This is not only unfair but unsustainable. Teachers need adequate planning time to prepare lessons, grade assignments, and engage with students and parents effectively. On top of that, the original proposal that was made in February of this year included a slide with a 45-minute lunch for high school teachers. A much more recent slide from the May 29th board meeting had a revised slide that showed a reduced amount of lunchtime down to 40 minutes. This again shows how MISD is not taking its teachers' well-being and mental health into consideration, overburdening them, their schedules with the planning period taken away, an extra class added, more grading to accomplish, more planning to accomplish, more mandatory trainings like 504, ARD, SPED to attend, and less time to do so in a regular workday. Thank you very much.
Chris Artis.
Good evening. When I moved to McAllen in 1983, straight out of college to work in McAllen ISD, I learned many people considered teachers who worked in MISD lucky because the district had a strong reputation for valuing employees, and team wasn't just for the athletic fields and courts. We are well aware of the financial burden that has been placed on districts due to competition for students and no increase in state funding since 2019, despite inflation. Obviously, both of those issues make balancing a budget increasingly complex. However, it does not change two important aspects of budgeting. Having complete and accurate information is critical when making decisions, and positive staff morale must be considered in the equation. Following the last budget meeting, I filed open records requests with districts in our region to ensure the information regarding student and staff schedules was current and accurate. The response to those records clearly indicate that teachers teaching 7 periods is far from the norm. There are other things to consider before making a decision that will greatly impact the morale of secondary teachers in the district, teachers who have remained loyal to MISD despite the district falling so far behind in salaries. This impact will be intensely felt when the work and planning schedules for 2 groups of teachers are completely different. Ask secondary teachers for a more comprehensive list of what they do during their conference and planning periods, as the lists provided on recent workshop slides are missing critical tasks. During the conference period, attendance verification reports, running off papers, calling parents, contacting counselors and nurses were not included. I'm going to send this to you because 2 minutes isn't long enough. I want to end with something I read last night and found perfect. Employee morale is the heartbeat of a successful organization. Cultivate it with care, and the entire team moves forward together. Thank you.
Ms. Hartis. Laurel McLeish.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the McAllen School Board. My name is Laurel McLeish, and I am a resident of McAllen and a member of the McAllen Library Board. Some background. My mom taught English at Sherryland High School for 42 years. And when she retired, the school board named the library that they were building after her. Also for many years, a parent in the district tried to get her fired because of her reading list. So my interest in banning books goes back many, many years, in not banning books. Banning books is censorship. Students need to see themselves in the books that are in a library. I recommend that you set up a committee of school staff, including librarians, students, parents, and members of the community to review any book that is being requested to be removed. When someone requests a book to be banned, that person must provide a book report, specify the reasons to remove the book, and appear in front of the committee to discuss the reason for the banning of that book. I volunteer to be on such a committee, and I know quite a few people in this room would also step up to the plate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. McLeish. Jason Barrera?
Good evening. I hope we can all agree that the only reason to consider adding a 7th class is cost savings, the numbers behind it. And I think that's the exact thing that needs to be unpacked a little bit more. The estimation of cost savings for adding an extra class for many or most teachers is certainly incorrect. The one-line formula used to create a figure of $2.9 million is simply being accepted without any evaluation and comprehensive vetting. Among many questionable factors, the number of teachers used in the equation is inaccurate. I welcome the opportunity to show you the questionable details in this formula because it is at best accidentally misleading and worse, irresponsibly deceptive. For example, the number of teachers used in the slides provided at the last budget workshop have a total of 197 teachers at Mac High. However, in the exact same slideshow, TASB used available teachers of 138.8. Upon other investigation with the master's schedule and staff directory online, the number of teachers at Mac High appears to be 157. In addition to that, which automatically reduces your cost savings by almost 50%, the formula is essentially this. If you had 100 teachers teaching 6 classes, that's 600 classes. You divide the 600 by 7 classes, you now have 86 teachers. But the formula is predicated on the exact same number of classes being divided among existing teachers. However, content-specific teachers like music, theater, dance, ROTC, ASL, French, they can't pick up previously existing classes. The only way for them to teach a 7th class is to create a 7th class. If you increase the number of classes, then you completely negate their part in that cost savings. The number divided by 7 is increasing. And I believe that this savings is somewhere around 36% of what is being estimated, and I think we should review it before we make such a detrimental choice.
Thank you, Mr. Barrera. And I believe our last speaker is Frank Chavero. Whoa. We do need to go back to this guy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Madam President, school board members, Dr. Gutierrez, and others in attendance today. Today, we'd like to provide a year in review for Mac High Mariachi Org. Throughout the year, the directors have continued to face many challenges on their journey to stay competitive with some mariachi groups in the state and provide the best music education experience for our students. They have faced adversity with inadequate practice facilities, with ACs that leak and cause instruments to get wet and damaged, practice in a portable building that has a history of mold, and have had to lean on the community support to fund certain activities. In spite of these adversities, McAllen ISD continued to have tremendous success at state and national competitions. At the region state UIL, McAllen received straight Division I superior ratings, doing that for 9 years in a row. Also, each member of the mariachi was recognized as an outstanding performer and received a UIL state gold medal for their recognition. At the Dame head-to-head competition, the group earned 2nd place, missing 1st place by 1 point. The kids worked hard to take that well-earned top spot in the state. The Class 5A category is the most competitive category in all classes. At the Festiva Mariachi competition at UTRGV, McAllen ISD earned 1st place in Class 5A and overall grand champion amongst all divisions. They earned the distinction to open up the evening concert. At the Texas Southmost College Mariachi Festival, McAllen once again earned first place in Class 5A and overall grand champion amongst all divisions. As grand champion, McAllen Mariachi Oro opened the evening concert for Mariachi Sol de Mexico, which is the premier professional mariachi group in the world. We also had our end-of-year concert this past May. I didn't get a chance to see any of y'all, so maybe next year y'all can join. But thank you all for your support next year, and we hope to see you all at our events.
Thank you,
so
sir. We had one speaker that we called earlier, Adrian Villegas. Just making sure. May I speak on behalf of Adrian Villegas? I don't know. No, Mr. Villegas signed up, so he would have had to have designated you earlier before the deadline. We apologize. Okay. Next item on our agenda, that's it for public comments, by the way. Item 5A, Superintendent's report. Dr. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Madam President and Board of Trustees. Last month, we had our annual senior walking, which seniors from McAllen High School, Memorial, and Nicky Rowe visited feeder campuses for the vertical teams. This is a chance for elementary and middle school students to get excited and look forward to what is in store for them when they get to high school. So we have a video on that event. Go ahead.
It's a big day. It's once a year where our seniors come back to the elementary schools and the middle schools. They visit their campuses that are in the feeder schools. And we just look out for those seniors that were ours. I know everyone kind of does the same thing at their campus. We're looking out for those familiar faces, and we're just excited to see them.
It was so loud, like the drums and everything. So I was so like excited because one day I'm gonna be a senior.
I'm sad to finally leave McAllen ISD, but I'm excited for the next chapter. Yeah.
The teachers are just excited to see them. The students came over and gave them a hug, and then, of course, teachers are in tears because we're just so very proud of each and every one of them.
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Item 5B, the golf tournament, raising money for scholarships. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, we held our 5th annual Superintendent's Scholarship Golf Tournament on May 11th. We were able to raise more than $76,000, and thanks to our partnership with Star Scholarship Fund, the amount will kick up to more than $150,000. The McAllen Education Foundation also partnered with us on this event, and we also have a video of this fundraiser that we did. We just had an awesome Superintendent's Golf Tournament. We did this tournament so we could raise additional monies for scholarships for our graduating seniors. I also like to thank the McAllen Education Foundation, the Stars. They're going to match our fundraiser. So in essence, we raised over $150,000. And I'm so proud of everyone, proud of all our volunteers and our staff. We're going to do this again and continue to do this every year so that we can help our seniors pay for college.
It's a good
I love playing golf. I asked two of my buddies that play, and we're thankful to be lucky enough to get first place today, but we want to continue to do what we can to help our students. So it's a tremendous honor to be here, and we're very fortunate to be here and participating in this tournament. And we're thankful for the invitation, and we continue to look forward to future invitations to come.
Item 5C, Aviation Pinning Ceremony salutes 12 students.
Yes, we held our second annual aviation pinning ceremony recently, and we saluted 12 students who earned their private pilot's license or a drone operator's license. This is twice as many students as the first year, and we're proud of their accomplishments, and we also have a video in this event.
Today we're having our second annual aviation pinning ceremony. Students are getting recognized for completing our aviation course that we have for our seniors, the practicum of transportation. In that course, they earn a private pilot license as well as a drone license.
When flying solo, it was really nerve-wracking in the beginning, but as you go on and do it over and over again, and since we have really good teachers that reassure us, they make you feel like you're capable of doing it.
Now show me how you guys are going to remember your 3 axes. There we go.
Once the students earn their private pilot license, they're getting a major discount. So if they go on further, they can go get their instrument license and then get a commercial pilot license as well. But it's a great opportunity because it gives them a head start in finishing that career.
I mean, I'm pretty sure as everybody else who wants to be a pilot, I want to fly big airplanes, but I think that's just the broad picture. Besides that, I just want to improve as a pilot and yeah, mainly get to know a lot of people and simply get more involved in the industry.
Good stuff. Item number 6, recognitions. We have none. Item number 7, proclamations. We have none. Item number 8, donations. We have none. And then item number 9, consent agenda items. Items 9A, 9B, 9C, 9D, 9E, 9F, 9G, 9H, 9I, 9J, 9K, 9L, 9M, and 9N. Do I have a motion to approve?
Madam President, I move to approve.
Second.
It has been moved by Trustee Regalado and seconded by Trustee Rivera. Do all in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The motion passes 6-0. Okay. Item number 10, instructional services, instructional leadership, human resources, business and operations, and Board of Trustees items. Item 10A, instructional services, Dr. Rosalba de Hoyos. Item 10A1.
Madam President, can we move an item up ahead because we have some presenters who are waiting for us on this item?
Which item is it?
It's 10D7.
10D7.
Did we just get out of order for that item for our presenter that we have in the audience?
Do you need a motion for that?
Yeah, we need a motion for that? Do I have a motion to move item D7?
I move to reorganize tonight's agenda to move 10D7 up next.
Second. It has been motioned by Trustee De La Garza Lopez and seconded by Trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 6-0. So item D7, 10D7, Dr. De Hoyos. Is it Dr. De Hoyos? Dr. Gutierrez?
Lorena Garcia. I'll read it and then I'll pass it on to Ms. Lorena Garcia. Item 10D7 is the discussion and possible action on resolution authorizing the replacement of the calculation agent for certain of the outstanding debt obligations of the district and authorizing other matters in connection therewith. The approval of the resolution shall authorize the replacement of the calculation agent for certain of the outstanding debt obligations of the McAllen Independent School District. Additionally, the resolution shall delegate to an authorized official to select the appointment of one or more successor calculation agents for such debt obligations and authorize other matters in connection therewith. Ms. Luna, as well as Ms. Garcia, would oversee this item. Go ahead.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gutierrez. Tonight we have two guests with us. We have Lauren Ferrero from McCall Parkhurst and Horton LLP. They are our bond counsel. Robert Dusty Trailer from RBC Capital Markets LLC is also one of our consultants, our financial advisor, and we have been working with both firms in preparation of this item. The district currently has qualified school construction notes, 2021 issue, approximately 14.8 million were issued in 2011, correct, for the maintenance and repair of facilities within the district. Those tax notes require preparation of an IRS form that it was currently being done by Bank of New York Mellon. They have since notified us that they can no longer perform these services. The form is 8038CP, which is a return for credit payments to issuers of qualified bonds. We reached out to our financial advisor for assistance in seeking a replacement firm since the maturity date of the qualified school construction notes is February 2026, so it's a little bit around the corner. So what they have done is they went out for bids seeking firms. They found two firms. U.S. Bank was one of the firms, and the reason that we have selected that firm is because they can take over the role of the calculation and the filing agent without having us to move the escrow account. The other firm would have required us to move to a new escrow account. The fees in itself are very nominal. It's only $750 plus $100 for document fees. However, the action does require a resolution, and this resolution had to be drafted by our bond counsel, and they are here in case you have any questions regarding these matters.
And we're recommending action on this item.
Yes, sir.
I move to approve.
Second.
It has been motioned by Trustee Regalado and seconded by Trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. And item 10A1, discussion and possible action on request for proposal number 2025-1001, Aviation Training Services. Dr. Gutierrez.
10A1. Yes, administration solicited proposals from vendors for aviation training services, and Ms. Sandoval, our Director for Career and Technical Education, is available to answer any questions. We are recommending action on this item.
Do we have any kind of a presentation, or?
No, this
Does
is just
anybody
to
have a
extend this aviation contract for an additional
I can give you more
years.
information if you
Go
want.
ahead, go ahead, Dr. De
Well,
Hoyos.
the district aviation program was launched in fall of 2022. And the spring of 2024, the district solicited proposals for aviation training services to continue offering the flight training program. The aviation program includes training covering flight regulations, maneuvers, and safety protocols for 12 students. Participating students have the opportunity to obtain a single-engine land private pilot license and a Federal Aviation Administration certificate remote drone license. So 5 vendors were invited to submit proposals, and 1 vendor responded. On May 31st, 2024, the evaluation committee met and evaluated the proposal, and administration is recommending that the district award McAllen Flight Academy LLC.
And this is a 3-part motion?
Yes, it's a 3-part motion, and do we have?
Madam President, I move that the board approve the request for proposal number 2025-1001 Aviation Training Services and award McAllen Flight Academy LLC for a term of 1 year effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025,
with the option to renew for 2 additional one-year terms.
Second.
It has motion by trustee Regalado and second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Madam President, I move to approve that the Board of Trustees approve the administration negotiate the contract with McAllen Flight Academy, LLC.
Second.
It's motion by trustee Rivera and a second by trustee Regalado. Do all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Madam President, I further move that the Board of Trustees authorize the superintendent to execute a contract once the contract has been successfully negotiated.
Do I have a second? It has been motioned by trustee Rivera and seconded by trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Item 10B, instructional leadership items. 10C, human resource, we have none. Ms. Nino, no items. Item 10C, human resources, Dr. Albert Canales. Item 10C1, discussion and possible action to amend policy DEC local, payment for accumulated leave upon retirement. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, administration is recommending to amend policy DEC local. And Dr. Canales, our Chief Human Resources Officer, has more information on this item, and we're recommending action on this item as well. Go ahead, Dr. Canales.
Yeah, administration is recommending changing the policy from 14 days to just end of contract time. So we have some employees that would like the chose to resign or retire, and we want to amend it from the 14-day notice to just whenever they want to retire, they can retire and get their paid days.
Any more?
Madam Chair, no, go ahead. I was going to make a motion to approve.
I just wanted to comment and thank the administration for looking at this. I know that there was some discussion about retirees, coming to that decision and then not being eligible to collect the money that they earned, really their sick leave, et cetera. So I appreciate the administration looking at that.
Okay.
Anybody second?
Second.
Well, I was just wanting to see if there was any other discussion. Okay. We have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez, second by trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. 10C2, discussion and possible action to update board policy BE local board meetings. Dr. Terres.
Yes, on May 30th, 2024, a request was received to make a change to policy BE local. Board President, Ms. Sofia Peña, has requested for regular meetings to be held on the second and fourth Tuesdays of each month instead of Mondays. Dr. Canales will have any more information as requested. We are recommending action on this item. I do want to add that this would be helpful for the administration if meetings could be held on Tuesday, because it gives us Monday and then part of Tuesday to answer any questions the board may have prior to the meeting.
So the reason I requested the item to be placed was exactly that. I do believe that Mondays are hectic. We get the final agenda packet on Fridays, and if we have any questions or anything that we need, staff really has to rush on Mondays to get it prepared, and so this would give everybody ample opportunity to be prepared for a Tuesday meeting. And so, is there any other discussion, or does anybody have any questions?
Madam President, I did want to ask a question to see if it would work out for the community to be able to attend maybe 5:30. I know there's a lot of community members out there that want to attend. We have a lot here today. Thank you all for being here. So I don't know if that's something that we can do, 5:30, or if that is a inconvenience to everyone here.
I've brought this up in the past as well. I believe that 5 p.m. for the community means if you want to be here in person to participate, maybe public comments or even just to sit in and watch, you have to take time off to get here by 5. 5 o'clock, you get off work, you come straight here, you're more apt to be able to attend in person and participate. So this is really intended for the community to be able to access our meetings in person with enough time so that they don't disrupt their workday. And I appreciate that suggestion, Trustee Rivera. Any discussion? Does this? Okay. So this is an action item, so I would need a motion.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees amend policy BE local to provide for regular board meetings to be held on the second and fourth Tuesdays of each month at 5:30.
Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Regalado and a second by Trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. So we'll be meeting on Tuesdays now at 5:30. Item 10D, business and operations items. Item 10D1, report regarding intent to apply for the 2024-2025 Safety and Facilities Enhancement SAFE Grant, Cycle 2. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, the 2024-2025 Safety and Facilities Enhancement SAFE Grant, Cycle 2 is a funding opportunity that will assist our districts, learning education agencies in meeting the adopted school safety standards. Ms. Williams, Director of Purchasing, will provide a report, and this is for information purposes only. Go ahead, Ms. Williams.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Gutierrez, and Board of Trustees. I am here tonight to present to you on our intent to apply for the 23-25 Safety and Facilities Enhancement SAFE Grant Cycle 2. As you know, we do currently already have the Safe Cycle 1 grant and the Safety and Standards Formula Grant. And there we go. The application posted in March. We did apply in May, on approximately May 28th. They did extend the application submittal time, but we definitely met the first initial deadline. Our allocation for this is $572,665, and this is to continue to implement the adopted safety standards that are applicable to Chapter 61. And our next slide, here are just some of the allowable expenditures that we can utilize these monies for, making sure that we are providing the 6-foot fencing requirement, exterior doors, the SPAT, the silent panic alert technology, all the way down to metal detectors, two-way radios, so a plethora of safety enhancements for our district. And we are hoping to receive our approval shortly, since the grant start date was actually yesterday. Are there any questions?
Hearing none, this is a 3-part motion.
It's information.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. I moved on to the next item. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Item 10, thank you, Ms. Williams. Item 10D2, discussion and possible action on competitive sealed proposal number 2024-67, 1051, Dorothea Brown Middle School sports lighting. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration solicited proposals for sporting lighting at Dorothea Brown Middle School. Mr. Trevino or Ms. Garcia from our facilities and operations are available to answer any questions. We are recommending action on this item, and this is a 3-part item to consider.
We have.
I have a question on this. This is the contract that AIA contract that's. Oh,
Motion.
sorry. This is the AIA contract that's listed as document A201-2017. Dr. Gutierrez.
That's correct, ma'am.
Okay. I went through it and saw the draft and then the revisions and deletions. However, I don't see a venue and jurisdiction clause. Is this the norm, or does it need to be added?
This is a standard AIA contract that we get, right? The standard contract that we as a district, get and negotiate with the contractor, the vendor.
Correct, correct. And we do submit this to Mr. O'Hanlon's firm for review. He prepares the AIA contract and then sends it back to us.
I'm just concerned that there's not a venue jurisdiction clause. And I don't know if there's a special provision for school districts. I don't think there is, but.
I can take a look at that.
Okay.
And find out. Obviously, it's better to have
Yeah.
the venue and jurisdiction in there. If it's not, I think you would default back to the Civil Practices and Remedies Code that says venue and jurisdiction is where it's executed kind of thing. So it's better to have it and have everybody agree to it, but regardless, because it's being executed in Hidalgo County, I think we're safe. But in the future, that's something I can certainly make sure that myself or Mr. O'Hanlon has in there.
The subcontractor would be here? Is local?
Well, because we're executing it here as a party,
Okay.
is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And it is, Trustee Thompson, it is a local vendor that we have to complete the lighting project.
Got it.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, no.
As far as our other middle schools, how does this lighting compare to our other middle schools? Is this something that's standard at all the middle schools?
No, ma'am. This was through our CDBG grant, so it is allowing for the grant funds to be able to have the lighting project there at the Brown track. There are a lot of different stipulations regarding the grant funds, and so it's based upon the
Need?
demographics, economics, things of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
The grant funding is going to cover this entire project, or are we leveraging any other funds?
No, ma'am. The grant will cover it.
Perfect. Okay. So this is do we have any further discussion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the ranking for selection of general contractor for competitive sealed proposal CSP number 2024-1051 Dorothea Brown Middle School sports lighting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been, motion has been made by Trustee De La Garza Lopez, second by Trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 6-0.
Madam President, I move that the board approve that administration begin with negotiations with the highest ranked contractor. If the district is unable to negotiate a satisfactory contract with the selected contractor, the district shall, formally and in writing, end negotiations with that contractor.
Second.
A motion has been made by Trustee Kittleman and second by Trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 6-0.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees authorize the superintendent to execute a contract in accordance with the procedures set out in Texas Government Code Section 2269.254 once the contractor negotiations have been successfully achieved, with the addition of a clause restricting venue and jurisdiction exclusively to Hidalgo County, Texas, be added to that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Regalado and a second by Trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Item 10D3, discussion and possible action on the sale of surplus instructional materials. Dr. Gutierrez.
Policy CMD legal states that the board shall determine how the district will dispose of discontinued printed instructional materials, electronic instructional materials, and technological equipment. A vendor has taken an interest in purchasing our surplus instructional materials. Ms. Lorena Garcia, our Deputy Superintendent, is available to answer any questions, and we are recommending action on this item.
Do we have a presentation on this?
No, the only attachment is the quote from the vendor that's offering to buy these, their workbooks, I believe.
Good afternoon, Madam President, Dr. Gutierrez, Board of Trustees. So we have some leftover instructional materials from middle school Spanish. We have not had middle school Spanish since the end of the 2021 school year. And this set of instructional materials is intended for middle school Spanish, which we no longer offer. So it is sitting in our warehouse right now. And we are asking to be able to sell the surplus instructional materials so that we can use the resources for the sale of this surplus instructional materials to purchase more instructional materials. As always, Anytime we sell instructional materials, that money has to go back into instructional materials only.
I do have a comment or a question. So I understand that the policy dictates that we can sell the surplus instructional materials, but also in some cases electronic overage that I guess maybe not usable any longer.
Right,
or
so the
maybe
policy is all encompassing, but all we're asking for today is what is here on this list of items.
Okay.
And it is strictly consumables in our warehouse that are left over.
Okay, and they have no use to us otherwise, they're just taking up space and
correct.
We're at least making some money back.
Right.
Okay.
Any other? I do have one question. Is it common for us to just use one vendor that shows interest, or should these go through a process where other vendors might be notified and maybe, show it, they may not know, but what appears here to me is that we have one vendor that's interested, and do we open this up to others, or how does that?
Typically, that we're aware of, there's only this company that offers to buy the books. Other disposal methods that we use is like we would put them up for auction, but we usually get no takers for something like that.
And if I could just follow up, we have used this vendor in the past, and this particular vendor is on our bid list.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Well, you have to come back to us for any other instructional materials that are not on this list.
Yes, if it's paid with IMA funds, which this is, we would have to come back for approval.
And IMA funds are?
Instructional material allotment.
Okay, so I'm real picky about using acronyms. I want for the public to understand when we're talking about something, I always say, and it's not anything against you. I just really like for acronyms to be, clarified for the community. Okay, thank you. So I need a motion and a second on this item, folks.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by Trustee Rivera. Do all those in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Whoops, I'm ahead of me. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Item 10D4, discussion and possible action on request for proposal number 2024-1048, McAllen Independent School District Central Kitchen Walk-in Freezer Repair. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration solicited proposals from vendors for freezer repair. Ms. Sonia Esquivel, our Director for Child Nutrition, is available to answer any questions. We are recommending action on this item.
Hi, how are you? Do you have something to tell us?
No, just available if you have any questions.
I guess we're good. Do I have a motion to approve?
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees approve request for proposal number 2024-1048, MISD, McAllen ISD School District, Central Kitchen Walk-in Freezer Repair, and award Arnold Refrigeration Incorporated for a term that will commence upon receipt of a purchase order and will remain effective for a term of 60 calendar days from the time of commencement.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Rivera and a second by Trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Madam President, I move that the board approve that administration negotiate the contract with Arnold Refrigeration.
Second.
They were the only ones that took it.
Okay. Trustee De La Garza, did you have a question?
I was just wondering if that was the only company that submitted or is available to do that.
That was the only company that submitted.
Thank you, sorry.
Thank you. I have a motion by Trustee Kittleman and a second by Trustee De La Garza Lopez. Rivera, I'm so sorry. I knew that exactly when I said it. Trustee Rivera, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees authorize the superintendent to execute a contract and any amendments needed once the contract has been successfully negotiated.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Rivera and a second by trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Item 10D5, discussion and possible action on memorandum of understanding number 2025-016, McFun Zone Summer Program with the City of McAllen. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration utilizes this agreement to provide educational and recreational services to students and youth within the district. Ms. Cavazos, our Director for Strategic Partnerships and Student Outreach, is available to answer any questions. We are recommending action on this item. If there's any questions?
I move to approve. Second.
I have a motion by trustee Regalado to approve and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great presentation, Ms. Cavazos. Item 10D6, discussion and possible action on the McAllen Independent School District June budget amendment for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. Dr. Gutierrez.
We recommend approval of the June 2024 budget amendment for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Ms. Lorena Garcia is available to answer any questions. We are recommending action on this item, and I believe this item was from the original time that we posted to now. We had to do an amendment, and you have the changes to that amendment. So just as an information item, that we had to amend it and change it this morning. And then they have the changes to this? Okay.
Do we have any questions, comments?
I can just, I usually give a presentation.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so for what you're looking at is the amendment. For the 6 weeks, from the 4th 6 weeks, we did see an increase in average daily attendance, and part of that has to do with the optional flexible school day program. There was an increase of 276. Now, since we just started with the program, when you average it into the whole year, it only bumps our yearly average daily attendance to 37. But this is indication of what's to come next year when we will have full year's data on that. So that did help our funding. Some of the major points that are covered in the amendment. First of all, we did have an increase in revenue of $784,242, and that is due to a recovery from insurance for some wind damage storms. We also did receive into the general fund, Fund 199 from the state. We did receive $1.15 million, $1,150,447 to be exact, and that came from additional state aid. There was a legislative amendment in 2021 that people that paid their taxes, but then later filed homestead exemptions, and if they received a refund, then school districts were entitled to the equal amount in additional state aid. So that is a nice little gift from the legislature there. In addition to that, another fund that grew was our Fund 173 for special education in the amount of $1.3 million, and that has to do with additional services being offered. So the more students being served, the more funding that we get. We also had to decrease SHARS, school health related services, by $1 million. As you know, we had planned on $1 million at the beginning of our budget, but because of the changes that were made in the regulations, we are not able to recoup those funds. We are disputing it, but we do not have a resolution yet on that. We did receive some COVID tests from the federal government, so we did book an increase, about $1.1 million worth of that, and then that is expensed out. In addition to that, we also had the sale of South 17th Street property, and that closed on Friday, $532,845, and that's also part of the amendment. And then, as you can see in the different expenditures where that is applied, what we did as well of note is that we did transfer in function 11 to fund balance $5.6 million out of the ESSER 3 funds that we are reclassifying. Part of the $20 million that we were supposed to transfer into fund balance, we had already transferred a portion of that, 13 million, and then the rest we are doing it in phases. This is phase 2 of that. Function 11, we also did the same thing. Let me see, I believe it was function 52 for security. And the reason we chose that, it's 2.9 million. Reason we chose that is because that does not affect our maintenance of effort calculation. In order to stay below that. And those are some of the highlights that we have on the budget amendment. Are there any specific questions?
Mrs. Garcia, just on page 221, it's under debt service. It shows local property taxes revenues under it, 6.4 million, the original budget. And then the revised budget, April 30, 2024, 13.9 million. What's the reason for the increase of 7 million? And maybe I'm just not understanding it.
On the debt service, that's the portion that we removed that we'll have to bring back at the next board meeting. So what you're looking at is the outdated copy. We're not including debt service in this amendment.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need to correct that and bring it, we're gonna bring it back on the 18th.
On the 18th.
To answer your question.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm needing some action on this. I need a motion.
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
A motion by trustee Regalado and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. We've already conducted business on 10D7, 10D8. Discussion and possible action on 2023-2024 low attendance waivers. Dr. Gutierrez.
TA approved attendance waivers that allows districts to drop any attendance day up to 4,200 operational minutes for the 4th and the 5th 6-week reporting period due to 2 weather days in January and the solar eclipse day in April. During the 4th and 5th 6 weeks reporting period, McAllen ISD qualifies for low attendance waiver days. These waivers, if approved by TA, will substantially increase the district's funding. Ms. Garcia is available for any questions, and we are recommending action on this item. This is something that all districts get waiver days when there's bad weather or something occurs that decreases our attendance rate for that day drastically. TA allows us to submit a waiver, and they give us credit for our average daily attendance.
Madam President, I move to approve the submission of low attendance day waivers to TEA, Texas Education
Agency.
Second.
Just making sure. She doesn't like.
Motion by trustee Rivera, second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Item 10D9, discussion and possible action on the Third Amendment to Agreement Number 2020-113, Sperry Commercial Global Affiliates, also known as the Arriaga Group. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration and Sperry Commercial Global Affiliates, the Arriaga Group, are amending the agreement to extend the term through July 31st of 2025. Ms. Garcia, our Deputy Superintendent for Business and Operations, is available to answer questions, and we're recommending action on this item since we have some real estate transactions in process right now.
So just For clarification, my understanding is that we signed an agreement with this entity back in 2019. This is the third amendment to extend, but we are extending just through the sale of Bonham Elementary.
Correct. There's two properties listed. However, the first property
Closed on
just
Friday.
closed on Friday. So as we were, posting this, so that one's done. And the second property is Bonham Elementary. And what the amendment says is that if the above property sell and close before the July 31st, 2025 deadline, the term of this agreement will end on the date that the last of the properties closes and title is transferred to the buyer. So as soon as that transaction is done, this contract is over, we would have to go out for request for proposals for a new company at that point in time.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, I move to.
I'm sorry, I have a question. So
Yes.
if Bonham doesn't close by the end of the year and the buyer doesn't go through for some reason, then this Sperry Commercial Global affiliates would still have the contract?
It would be, it would expire on July 31st, 2025, which would be whichever occurs first, the sale or that date. However, it's unlikely based on the place that we're at in terms of the negotiations with the buyer on this property. We already have a buyer. They're just working on submitting some final paperwork. And I believe since it's a real estate transaction, it's not something we can discuss in open session, but you can receive counsel from our attorney in closed session, and they can give you the details so that you'll see that it's fairly quick. We anticipate that this will be resolved.
Okay.
Any other discussion? I need a motion.
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Items 10E, Board of Trustees, items 10E1, discussion and possible action for the Board of Education meeting minutes. Administration is
Recommended action.
recommending action on this item.
Move to approve.
Second.
Who seconded? I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Kittleman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Item 10E1A, regular board meeting, May 13th, 2024. Items 10E1B, special board meeting, May 20th, 24 at 5 p.m. 10E1C, special board meeting, May 20th, 24 at 5:30 p.m. And item 10B2, discussion and possible action of travel for Board of Trustees. Administration is recommending action. Do we have questions?
Madam President, I think we needed to have approved items
too.
10E1A, B, and C. I move to approve all of those items.
Second.
I believe so. And my apologies for that, just the way that it was written. I have a motion by trustee Regalado and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Madam President, I move to approve 10E2.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Regalado and a second by trustee Kittleman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 6-0.
Madam President, I think just going forward in the future for any kind of travel or expenses of the board, it would be great to have some kind of number, currency description.
Sure.
I don't think any of us are going anywhere.
Yeah, for any travel in the future, let's just list it so that it's clear
It shows, yeah.
where who's traveling where, and,
Yeah, I have no problem with showing.
okay, thank you.
This is a local travel.
Yeah, even if it's local travel,
I
just
think
kind of list it on there for transparency purposes for the community to know where we're gonna be.
And how much it's costing.
Yeah. Got it, Natalie? Got it. Thank you. Item 11, recess to closed session. Board of Trustees may go into closed session pursuant to Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, and 551.089. Texas government to discuss the following. 11A, discussion of human resources recommendation for school year 2023-2024. 11B, discussion and of human resources recommendation for school year 2024-2025. 11C, discussion of human resources employee resignations and retirees for school year 2023-2024. 11D, discussion of recommendation for Director of Student Operations for 2024-2025. 11E, discussion of recommendation for Career Technical Education Director for 2024-2025. 11F, discussion of recommendation for the principal at Thigpen Zavala Elementary for 2024-2025. 11G, discussion of recommendation for the principal at Michael E. Fossum Middle School for 2024-2025. 11H, discussion of recommendation for the principal at McAllen High School for 2024-2025. 11I, discussion of recommendation for the principal at Lamar Academy for 2024-2025. 11J, discussion regarding school safety and security. 11K, pending and/or potential litigation. 11L, possible real estate acquisition. We are now recessed to executive session. At 7:57 PM, we are back in open session, and we move on to item 13, action on items in closed session. Item 13A, discussion and possible action of human resources recommendations for school year 2023-2024. Dr. Gutierrez.
No action on this item, the recommendation?
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 13B, discussion and possible action on human resource recommendations for school year 2024-2025. Dr. Gutierrez.
Human Resources submitted a list of recommendations for the 24-25 school year under a separate cover that was discussed in closed session. Administration is recommending action on this item.
Need a motion, folks.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Regalado, a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 13C, discussion of human resources employee resignations and retirees for school year 2023-2024. Dr. Gutierrez.
The Human Resources Department submitted a list of resignations and retirees for the 23-24 school year under a separate cover that was discussed during closed session. This is an information purposes item only.
Okay, still moving on to item 3D, discussion and possible action of recommendation for Director of Student Operations. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration recommends the approval of Ms. Angela Allen for the position of Director of Student Operations.
I need a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Thompson and a second by trustee Rivera. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll say my name.
And a second.
By me.
Yes. Okay, let me correct that. Motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Angela Allen.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job. Lots of work. Thank you for all you do. Okay. Item 13E, discussion and possible action of recommendation for Career Technical Education Director for 2024-2025. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration recommends the approval of Mr. Leo D. Science for the position of Career Technical Education Director.
So moved. Second.
Got it. I have a motion by trustee Regalado and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Leo Science. Okay, item 13F, discussion and possible action on recommendation for the principal at Thigpen Zavala Elementary for 2024-2025.
Administration recommends the approval of Ms. Marisela Chapa for the principal at Thigpen Zavala Elementary.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got it. I have a motion by trustee Rivera and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Marisela Chapa, new principal at Thigpen Zavala. Item 13G, discussion and possible action on recommendation for the principal at Michael E. Fossum Middle School for 2024-2025. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, at this time, no action on this item.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by trustee Regalado and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item, almost done, folks. 13H, discussion and possible action on recommendation for the principal at McAllen High School for 2024 2025. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration recommends the approval of Ms. Stephanie Friedland for the principal at McAllen High School.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Rivera and a second by trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Stephanie Friedland.
Stephanie Friedland.
Big one, that's a big one, yes. Item 13I, discussion and possible action for recommendation of the principal at Lamar Academy for 2024-2025. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration recommends the approval of Ms. Nora Sanchez for the principal at Lamar Academy.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Ms. Nora Sanchez, the principal at Lamar Academy. And then 13J, discussion regarding school safety and security.
No action.
No action on that. None was taken. Item 13K, pending and potential litigation. Mr. Ball.
Nothing to report.
Item 13L, possible real estate acquisition. Mr. Ball.
Same announcement.
Same announcement. Got it. Item 14, schedule a future meeting, special board meeting, budget workshop number 7, Tuesday, June 18th, 2024, 5 p.m. at the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom Administration Building. And then,
Adjournment.
Should that be 5:30, given our new?
can we already schedule it at 5:30?
Sure.
You can.
You can schedule anytime you want as long as we're ready to.
So we passed change in dates, moving our meetings to Tuesdays and also at 5, starting at 5:30 instead of 5. So
Post it at 5:30, you're just fine.
Natalie will post that one at 5:30.
Do we need a motion
Do we need a motion
for
that?
this one?
No, we'll just post it.
Okay, thank you. It's already set on a Tuesday, which is convenient. And now I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by trustee Regalado and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. 5-0. We are adjourned, folks, at 8:00.